We have learned over the years that when we go to the place of passion within us, there's no force in the universe that can interfere with us completing a project. So, hello everyone. We are going to present first year engineering project which was a part of engineering exploration course. We have named our project as Blooming Tulip, and this project belongs to the need statement decoratives. My name is Chinmay Mandi and my teammates are Yashasvi, Nitin and Sadashiv. We, being a team of 4 members from Yale division, have worked on the project Blooming Tulip under the guidance of Kaushik sir. We have followed 5 steps of engineering design process to complete this project, and those steps are: step number 1, problem definition; step number 2, conceptual design; step number 3, product architecture; step number 4, detailed design; and lastly step number 5, that is design documentation. Let me describe the step number 1, that is problem definition. This slide reflects the formulation of objectives, constraints and functions. So, here's a problem definition. Design a semi-automatic, portable, user-friendly and easily operable decorative model. The material used in making the model should be non-toxic for usage even in a child-safe environment. The model has to weigh less than 1 kg and the budget should not exceed Rs 3000. It should be able to exhibit movement, lighting and indicate the process. The model should also work on user interface. In this slide, the objectives are displayed in blue color, the constraints are displayed in green color and the functions are displayed in red color. Further, the functions which were shown in the problem definition are elaborated and segregated into sub-functions as shown in the function tree. The main concept of our project is decoratives. So under decoratives, we have 4 functions. Those are user interface, lighting, exhibiting movement and process indication. Under user interface, we have 3 ways. Those are you can control it through mobile, or you can control it through voice, or you can control it through touch. Lighting. The lighting can be done by changing the colors of LED. Exhibiting movement. The movement can be exhibited in 2 ways. Either you can rotate the whole body or you can just do the opening and closing of the subparts. Coming to the process indication, again the process indication can be done in 2 ways. Those are you can indicate when the whole process is done or you can indicate when the model is on or off. And you can see the clustering. The subsystems identified are user interface, lighting, exhibiting movement and process indication. Let me now describe the step number 2, that is conceptual design. We were trying to generate different alternatives as a solution to realize the functions. We were able to come up with the 4 diverse solutions. And those are, this is concept number 1 and this is concept number 2. Followed by the concept number 3 and concept number 4. After brainstorming and using puck chart which is shown, we selected the best design. And this is the final selected concept, that is the concept number 2. Now, let me move on to the product architecture phase, which is the 3rd step of engineering design process. During this phase, we considered the identified subsystem, and now we are trying to identify the interactions between the subsystems. Interactions usually will be in terms of data, energy, material and spatial interaction. However, in our case, the interaction is restricted to data and material interaction. Virtual implementation. Having identified each of the subsystem, we started visualizing it by developing 3D model using the software Autodesk 2020. 3D model of the entire system.
This is the petal of the flower. There are 6 of them in the model. This is the stem part. It is a hollow tube that consists of push rod and connects the base to the petals. These are twin hexagonal structures that acts as the pistil. and LEDs are mounted on top in the center of these. This is the base of the model with the switch, with the indicator. Let us go through the integrated model. This is the base of the model. It consists of a servo motor, a touch IC, and an Arduino circuit. Next, a stem is attached. It is a hollow tube that will consist of push rod. It will attach the pistol to the bottom of the model. Next, this is a small leaf on the side of the stem which is connected to the touch sensor inside the base. It will act as a touch pad. Next, a hexagonal shaped twin pistols are mounted on top of the stem. It will connect the petals to the base to the servo motors with the help of a push rod. And the LEDs will be planted on in the center of the pistol. Lastly, the petals. There are 6 petals in the model. They are connected to the base. The movement of these petals are controlled by push rod. The mechanism is similar to that of the umbrella. The push rod is controlled by the servo motor set in the bottom of the model.
Now, here's the step number 4, that is detailed design. Further, in the step number 4, that is detailed design, we did build a circuit using the software Tinkercad. So, this is our circuit. This circuit diagram consists of touch sensor, LED strip, NeoPixel strip, Mega Arduino board, servo motor and a breadboard. The servo is used for exhibiting the movement and the NeoPixel and LED strips are used for lighting. Touch sensor is the interface which takes the input, that is touch. This is the flowchart of the entire system. Starting, let us give the command as start, then the machine indicates whether it is on or off. Then later, the detection of touch takes place. If the touch is detected, then the servo gets on, and if the touch is not detected, then it will directly move to the stop command. When the touch is detected, the servo gets on, and when servo gets on, 2 functions take place, that is initiating of blooming of petals and neopixels are turned on. These both functions takes place simultaneously. This is one cycle, and when again the touch is detected, then the servo gets on, and if the touch is not detected, then the model remains in the same position. That means the servo will be off and goes to the stop condition, and if the servo is on, again 2 functions takes place, that is fading of petals and a neopixel will be turned on, and later it also goes to the stop command. This is the bill of materials required for the entire system. The parts are petals, stem, housing of motors, micro servo motor, microcontroller and touch sensor. The petals will be made up of the material polyester and the stems will be made up of brass tube. Both of these required the fabrication process, that is cutting and bending. And all of these parts are required in the quantity of 1.
Motor sizing and battery sizing of our entire system. In that motor sizing, force being applied to the motor is vertical. Based on the force required and weight required, we calculate the force and the torque and then net torque. Then we choose the motor which has the net torque 2.12 kg/cm. Then in battery sizing, we calculate the total current required by our components of our system. It is 635 microampere. Then we calculated the battery requirement, it is 1.9 ampere hour. Then we also calculated battery size required for our system, it is 5 to 9 volts. Functional specification of our entire system. In that first function, user interference. The function specification is sense the touch, react within the 1 second, initiate the blooming of the flower and the glowing of the lights. In second function lighting, the function specification is the NeoPixel glow with the 8 colors with a frequency of 1 second when the touch is sensed. In the third function movement, the function specification is The petals display full bloom in 9 seconds after sensing the touch. Similarly, the closing up also takes 9 seconds after sensing the touch. In fourth function indication, the function specification is the LED at the base turns on when the flower returns the full bloom and turns off when flower is closed.
Simulation and modeling.
So now getting to the simulation part, using the touch sensor as an input, as the input is given high, that is 1, the servo and the NeoPixels are activated. The NeoPixels on the center part of the flower starts lighting up in the form of VBjork, and the servo starts rotating at 60-degree angle, which is the blooming angle of the flower. And the LED glows green, indicating that the process is completed successfully. On the another input, that is touching the sensor again, the NeoPixel on the center part of the flower starts lighting up in the reverse pattern of the VBjork, and the servo comes back to its initial position, that is the fading part of the flower, and the LED turns red, indicating that the process is terminated successfully.
Here are some animations of the movements of the tulip. This animation is done in Imagix software. And this is a simple mechanism on how this tulip works. Here we have used a single petal to show the mechanism. You can see there's a piston. That piston will be attached to the petal, and that piston on the other hand will be attached to the servo, and this piston will be inside the brass tube. So when the servo moves with the input, that is touch, then the piston comes out and the petal blooms out. And as soon as another input is given, that is another touch is given, then the servo moves to the initial position, then the piston comes down. As soon as the piston comes down, the leaf or the petal will fade in. These are some of the animation of the blooming tulip. It shows us the movement of the blooming tulip. These are done in Blender 2.82 software. This is how the tulip blooms out. This is how the tulip changes its color. And lastly, this is how it fades in. So, here's the step number 5, that is design documentation. Phase-wise, all the details were put onto the GitHub. It was a wonderful experience in completing this project. Firstly, we would like to thank the Center for Education, KLE Technological University, Hubballi. We would also like to thank our mentor, Kaushik sir, and all the other mentors for encouraging and supporting us. Lastly, I would like to say, alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. Looking forward for many more such wonderful experiences in our career.